Welcome to This Just In. I'm Max Kellerman, and this is what's going on in the world of sports right now and how I see it. Let's get to what's happening. Odell Beckham Jr., Browns wideout, of course, is hopeful for a return Sunday against the Bears. Here's Odell talking. Well, no.
I've worked extremely hard to not only get back but improve and try and be better than I ever have been. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's been a long time. It's been a long time in that cave. Putting yourself back together. I had a great team around me for the entire process, great support system. And it's going to be special. Like I say, it's been a long time.
Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud likely will not play against Akron on Saturday as he recovers from a shoulder injury, Coach Ryan Day said Thursday. Their next 3 games after Akron are Rutgers, Maryland, and Indiana. They don't play another ranked opponent until October 30th, hosting Penn State. College football, NFL. Tom Brady's personal trainer, Alex Guerrero, says Patriots coach Bill Belichick, quote, never evolved in how he treated the star quarterback, a factor that contributed to Brady's exit in 2020 after 20 seasons in New England. Speaking to the Boston Herald, Tom Brady's personal trainer, Alex Guerrero, had this to say about Bill Belichick. It was like Bill never really, I think his emotions or feelings never evolved with age. I think in time with Tom, as Tom got into his late 30s, early 40s, I think Bill was still trying to treat him like that 20-year-old kid that he drafted. And all the players, I think, realized Tom was different. He's older, so he should be treated differently. And all the players, none of them would have cared if he was treated differently. I think that was such a Bill thing. He never evolved. You can't treat someone who's in his 40s like they're 20. It doesn't work. All right, great to have NFL analyst Louis Riddick and insider Jeff Darlington joining the show. What's going on, guys? Louis, you played under Bill Belichick. What do you make of these comments?
Yeah, I'm not really surprised by them in terms of how people perceive Bill and how he conducts himself as far as holding his team accountable as a group and holding individual players accountable. He really is someone who drives a hard bargain. He doesn't give too many people any margin for error, and it really doesn't matter, whether or not you're a 10, 15, 20-year tenured vet or you're the undrafted rookie free agent. I saw him do it personally when we were in Cleveland. It's something that constantly keeps people on edge and keeps people motivated and keeps people, wondering, or rather, I should say worrying to some degree about their job status. But you know what? Sometimes fear is a great motivator. Not always for everyone, but sometimes it is. And it really has yielded some great results for him in New England. Now, that being said, with Tom Brady, I do think there is some room for you to adjust and start to, while you're treating everyone fairly, you're not treating everyone the same. And Tom it's not probably. He earned the right to be treated differently based on what his resume was. And I could totally see why someone who's like the ultimate alpha, one of the ultimate competitors in the history of sports, period, how someone could push back against that or bristle when that would continue to happen to him and look for a change. That doesn't shock me at all. But look, he lasted for 20 years up there, and they won a lot of games.
It's hard to tell someone with a worldview, a consistent philosophy, say like Bill Belichick, no, keep doing that, but just over here make an exception when part of their philosophy is no exceptions.
Good point.
But we did see Tom Coughlin evolve and win Super Bowls as a result. It looked like, Jeff, you had us all glued the entire way with your reporting on Brady's exit from New England. Do these comments kind of coincide with what you were hearing at the time?
They absolutely coincide. And I think that it's important to have a distinction here that if this is the way that Tom Brady feels, that's one thing. And ultimately, perhaps that is in part what led him out of New England. The feeling that, look, I'm a 40-year-old man now. It's not that I'm Tom Brady, greatest of all time. That's not the way that Tom thinks or expects to be treated. It's instead, I'm a 40-year-old man with children, with a wife, and you're still treating me and talking to me as if I'm a child. But put that aside. I mean, if we're talking about, I think Lou's going to be surprised right here because I'm going to defend Belichick for a second here too. Sometimes, this is what ultimately did motivate Brady for so long, that Belichick knew how to get under his skin a little bit. And look, I'm not suggesting that that's the reason for Brady's greatness, but this was a match that worked for so long. And we're going to spend the next week dissecting the divorce But ultimately, there was still 20 years of just absolute success, unprecedented success. And part of that is the fact that Bill Belichick has a way of motivating people that maybe the person themselves doesn't understand until perhaps they can sort of look back on it years later.
He just wants to see if there's another way to do things, too. Brady responded today. Let's check it out.
I have, great respect and admiration for my time there. I've had 20 great years there. I kind of spoke that the last 18 months. It's a great time in my life. But, really happy to be here. And I think we've done some great things in a short period of time. Really love the teammates that I have that I'm playing with here. Love the coaches. The organization's been amazing. Again, it's just a lot of gratitude for me. So.
Come on, your boy can say what you want to say, and then you just don't deny it, Lewis. The news there is he didn't deny it.
That's the Tom Brady way right there.
Tom is the master of saying a whole lot without saying anything, isn't he, man? He knows how. He just totally moved it in a different direction, spun it to the present day, and was like, I'm not confirming or denying it. You can make a decision about whether or not it's true. And you know what? Look, I just kind of want to go back to something Jeff said. You know what? I'll defend Bill, too, because I'll tell you this. During my time in Cleveland, I had many sleepless nights, man, where I'll tell you what, my girlfriend, who's my wife now, used to say to me, why are you staying up so late at night? You need to get to bed. She goes, why do you seem so restless? And I'd be like, you know what? Because I missed this play or missed this check or didn't do this right, and I'm just dreading seeing Bill tomorrow. I mean, that's a true story. I'm dreading seeing him tomorrow because I know he's going to hold me accountable for it in a way that, but you know what? I wouldn't change any of that. None of it. Because it made me better in my career and it's made me better in life, period. I wouldn't change any of it. Although it can wear on you. It's not for everyone.
Lewis just said, Tom Brady's not confirming or denying, saying, make up your mind. I've made up my mind. It's all true. I mean, or you would deny it. It's obviously true. What do you think about Brady's response?
It is all true, by the way, to be clear. And for years it has been. And people, when this was happening in New England, and for instance, if I would say something about it, or any reporter would say it, you'd get kind of shouted down because the Belichick way that Tom Brady did subscribe to, the Patriot way, was to keep that stuff all in-house for so long that if it leaked out at all, people just shouted it down. There was truth to a lot of it. And look, what Lewis is saying right now, you think back to Bill Parcells, one of Belichick's great mentors. In the early 80s, Parcells ultimately decided, you know what, I don't care what the players think about me. I got to do it my way, and I might not make friends along the way doing it. And I would be willing to bet that at some point Belichick, maybe in his memoirs, will confess to exactly that he just decided at some point that, you know what, they might not like me for it, but ultimately, it's the way that I'm
30 for 30's coming that's confirming all of this. I mean, come on, let's be honest. The great sports debate these guys got together at the turn of this century, the great sports debate of the 21st century was it more Brady or Belichick? And these dudes wanted to find out just like the rest of us. The big Week 4 matchup between Brady and Belichick is looming. Let's stay in the NFC South for the start of Week 3. Sam Darnold leads the 2-0 Panthers into their showdown at the Texans tonight. The Panthers are looking to keep pace with the Bucs in the division, while the Texans will be without quarterback Tyrod Taylor. Davis Mills will start under center. Lewis, Sam Darnold has been a revelation this season. He's proving what everyone's saying, it's situation. Apparently it really is so far. What are your thoughts so far on this second chance for him?
Look, I've long been a believer that your surroundings and your circumstances have a very, very, very tangible effect on what your success is going to be, whether it be in football, baseball, basketball, or just in business overall. ESPN, it doesn't matter. And I think in New York, look, we often throw around the whole thing, the whole idea of you need to be set up to succeed, and coaches need to put you in situations to succeed. And look, this is a living, true, breathing example of it. I think down there in Carolina, Sam feels wanted, number one, by Matt Rule, supported, number two, by Matt Rule. He feels supported in terms of how he one-on-one communicates with him. Obviously, him and Joe Brady. He feels supported by what they have done as far as weaponry that they have given him. Look, DJ Moore was already there. Robbie Anderson comes in. They draft Terrace Marshall. Christian McCaffrey's already there. I mean, as a quarterback, what more could you possibly want than that from a weaponry standpoint, and then the support of your coach? And then on the defensive side, look, right now, he's got a defense that's going to sack quarterbacks, get off the field on third down, turn the football over, give him short fields to work with. Sam Darnold's a new man right now. Life is good for him.
Okay, so Jeff, can this Panthers team be a playoff team? We're all assuming all these teams are coming out of the West. Can they be a playoff team?
So I think it's early to say that. The defense is obviously playing lights out, and what's especially impressive is just how much pressure they bring from all different directions. And I do think that is aiding Sam Darnold. Without trying to take any credit away from what Darnold has done, to this point through these 2 games, Darnold has just been simply efficient. 8 yards per pass, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked just 3 times. He's doing the things that this team needs him to do to allow that defense to ultimately thrive. And again, at some point, we're going to see Sam Darnold need to put the weight of this team on his shoulders. And that, to me, will be another step toward perhaps this becoming a playoff team. For now, not taking anything away from him, but right now this is a defensive-minded team that eventually, at some point, Darnold is going to have to elevate.
We'll see if the Panthers can avoid the trap game tonight. By the way, Davis Mills might ball out seeing how the career of Tyrod Taylor has gone so far. Like that, this actually may be a trap game. Guys, thanks. We're going to talk to you in a minute coming up. We've all heard